Hello everyone, Olympiad has recently started and this is our recap of the round number one. We gathered right here the most interesting games of the round number one where favorites failed or they played badly or they lost points, and we'll try to show you these games. With me today, FIDE Master Vladimir Chernikov, my friend.
Yeah,
Yeah, and we're gonna show you games, and we will start with uh, fourth board, but in this game it was board number three. Levon Aronian, one of the best players of last, I don't know, 10 years, and we will see what went wrong for him. He played against Panama, as I understand. FIDE Master with 2122 rating, not the most feared opponent of all time. And what we can see is a Rossalimo variation. Vladimir, do you like this opening?
yes, I do. But when people don't play something dangerous against me, I
Yeah,
enjoy it a lot.
I don't like a terrible opening for both sides. It's like, I don't know, really drowning in some swamp. Oh god, just terrible. Worse than some Rui Lopez and I don't know, just some disaster. By the way, Knight of Six is a move that Caruana played in the candidates tournament in several games. And right here, Aronian plays the same. He goes G6, and against him, opponent tries to play 5, attack in the center, trying to grab space. Looks like logical idea. Then bishop takes castle, and black plays knight g7. This move might surprise you because why do we play bishop g7 instead of knight g7? But the answer is simple. Because the knight is on the edge of the board. So how do you think, Vladimir, where do we move it? What's in general plan of black right here in this position?
Okay, famous Georgy Tkachenko explained me that I need to bring knight to the center of the board. So probably this knight going towards e6 and then d4.
And then,
What do you
yeah,
think?
yeah, bishop can go to g7, this bishop can be developed, and this is a standard idea for Rossalimo, having such knight rotations. But right here, unexpectedly, out of nowhere, Aronian played h6, the move that is really weird, and the game showed that this was a pretty bad move, because the idea later on to play g5, g4, and trying to pressure an opponent in a very, I mean, not very, but kind of disrespectful way, because what do you really expect that everybody seen the pawns and like faint and resign? Probably not. So 94 b6 attacking the pawn. Then rook e1 was played, and instead of going according to the plan, this knight goes to f5, which is not such big of a problem. White plays c3, probably trying to reinforce pawn chain by playing d4, and black goes for g5, which is mistake. As you can see, in the game queen a4 was played and Aronian continued his streak. He needed probably to play bishop b7, but in the game terrible queen c7 move happened. Can you tell us, Vladimir, what's so wrong about this move? Like, what did Aronian really miss? Because it seems like good way to defend the pawn, pressure the center all together.
Yes, sure I can. So when I expect someone playing Sicilian, right? Let's say queen c7, etc. I expect him to not blunder that much. Usually, when you see in this position, right, you need to look at first at all the possible force moves in the board. And for example, here g4 is a good idea to attack the knight,
Because yeah,
and
knight is in the
finally don't have
center.
any squares. Absolutely. And now we see the difference. Why knight in f5 is worse than on e6. So rook on from e1 is extraying the king on e8, as we can see here. And knight on e6 kind of blocking all the kinds of discovery, etc. But on e5 not. So after g4 suddenly appears that black is lost, completely lost, because knight's hanging. If knight were to move, let's say, to g7, there's knight d6 check. And I mean that's end of the game. The queen is lost, or if king d7 played, I mean that's the end of the game. The knight
Yeah,
f7 and
yeah,
also
true.
on.
Because if king moves, yeah, the game falls
Yeah,
apart.
okay.
And you might think that this is it for Aronian. He's lost a piece, but he kept on fighting, and which is weird. And in my opinion, that's cringe, because I would not forgive myself if I didn't win such game, no matter who I play against. Because you're like, got extra piece for a pawn without any compensation. I mean, I understand that, like for guys who learning, if you lose something like that, there is nothing scary. But when you are master, grandmaster, you need to realize such positions because right here, black doesn't have any con to play basically. And somewhere right here, there was a funny moment. Bishop d7 was played. Can you explain, Vladimir, to our viewers what is it for? What does black want, and what white probably should have done because white for some reason played queen a3.
Okay, the idea of black is somewhere push t5 and have some tactical explosion, attacking the queen, attacking the center, looking towards c4 and also on. And white hit here very great move with knight to c5. It's just like a bomb move because after take knight c5.
Yeah, we can play
Bishop
knight
a5
c5 or
first, I
even
think.
bishop a5, yeah.
Yeah, rook goes away, the knight c5, rook e3, rook b3, and it's almost mate,
Yeah,
right? I
you,
mean,
you
there's
just you
no
just
way.
destroy pieces of black absolutely discoordinated. They are, I don't know, chilling on the beach somewhere on the king side when the king is being mated and nobody really stops it. Instead, queen
From
a3
there,
was played.
also, I
Yeah,
mean, it comes the name of our video. I mean, if someone plays like that constantly, I mean, Aronian past year didn't win in his first round
yeah,
as well,
they played
and
against
now,
Angola and he played against international master who was stronger than this guy, and
and I
he
mean, the final
barely
position
survived.
that we saw in variation, right, with knight c5, etc. Final position would be like a great illustration of what was going on in the game, like all the pieces in last rank, 2700 rating there on the left side of the screen, and what is it?
Yeah,
I
this,
mean,
this is true. Because when you even play against a higher rated opponent, no matter how strong he is, don't be afraid. Because right here it played against guy who played for white many times in this game. He played queen a3. He plays pretty logical, but right here when you up material, try to trade pieces. Right here bishop before was definitely the move. Maybe he was afraid of c5, but I'm pretty sure there is nothing scary and we can again crush the king side. And step by step, White didn't really have a direct plan. Right now, some clouds around the king start appearing because there is some mating idea. And actually, in the game, Knight of One was played, which basically promotes this idea of black to play c5 at some moment. And here Aronian didn't fail. He at least calculated variation for 3-4 moves forward. And after b5, idea is that queen is trapped. And if let's say queen a5 being played, what beautiful move does black have, Vladimir?
there is good tactical shot, bishop to b4.
Yeah, and you're like, what the hell are you talking about? You're just giving up the bishop. But next move is going to be c5. And
Double
right,
attack.
yeah, it's like a double attack on the mate and on the queen, and probably white should have gone for it because you have three pieces for the queen, which is awesome, and in a lot of situations it would be better than the queen. But in the
Yeah, and all the
game,
black squares, the most important, right? There is bishop
yeah,
before, knight c5 jumping also on.
yeah. Instead, white decided to play knight a5, which is a terrible move because it loses all the advantage after a series of trades. Position was basically equal. White won the pawn back, but later on, Class of Aronian kinda showed himself and he managed to outplay his opponent, even though the position was pretty drawish. Opponent was in a like this
Yeah,
FIDE
for sure he
master.
was like tilting already,
Yeah,
typical
yeah.
thing.
Because right here, like, yeah, it was already move number 40, and this is a typical thing when you're on the move number 40 making mistake, because he was afraid of something like rook e1, h4, king h4, rook f4, but there were like plenty of moves that would be fine. He could try to go for a counter-attack, but he got too scared, and Levon managed to win the game. So yeah, it's like really not the best play by FIDE Master. So yeah, Levon was like this is close to losing this game, and performance that he showed was absolutely terrible. It's not how you should play for your national team, right?
Yes, absolutely. But in the end, he won. But if you want to see something even more horrible, you can stay tuned. There were some other interesting positions in this Olympiad
And
game.
the guy who Vladimir hated on during our broadcast that you can see right now on the screen is Shakhriyar Mamedyarov, who was on the board number one, but they replaced him to the board number four. And actually, this,
Even there, he can't
yeah,
perform.
yeah,
Even there. I
even
think the
even here.
position in the chessboard doesn't represent this face on the screen, so we'll see it later.
Yeah, because he will not smile at all after that. Right here, he played against Jordan, I believe. player with 1994 rating. The gap between their ratings around like what 750.
2000.
Yeah, 750 like yeah. And yeah, the difference is huge. I don't know. I myself, if I don't win somebody below 2000, would be really upset. But Shakhriyar, who was like in top again for many years as Levon, probably is not really happy about this game. This is Nimzo Indian, Zemish variation, pretty sharp line usually. Nobody okay, somebody plays like that, but it is counted like not the best option because usually white trying to be more sneaky and steal this tempo by not playing a3. There are some moves like queen c2 or e3 when capture is not that great because black actually wasting tempo. Right here, white trying to make sure that this bishop is going to be killed, but the pawn structure is ruined. So Vladimir, what are basic plans of white and black in this position? Can you explain to
Okay, I
our
personally like to
subscribers?
play this position more with black pieces. You just get control, trying to get control of e4 square. Sometimes you play c5, d6, or d6, e5 with knight bd7, and also on, and you just play against this bad pawn structure of white pieces. I like it
Yeah,
much more.
because
And white needs to play with the
basically, yeah,
space.
basically you wanna try to stun the pawn chain, wanna attack it like this. White, on the other hand, tries to attack on the king side, and there is a cool game about it. Like, if I remember correctly, Geller versus Ava. It was like in the legendary like 1953
Absolutely.
candidates tournament book. So if you like haven't watched it, really try to find it. Great game. Knight c6 was played. Possible trying to go d6, e5, and later maybe go b6, bishop a6. But yeah, probably I'm mistaken because Shakhriyar played d5. I don't like it. If you watching this video, you playing chess, do not undouble pawns of your opponent. And even right here, it's kind of cringe. He could like literally start playing against the pawns. Instead, he's trading. Yeah, he prevents e4, and it's not me who is going to judge Shakhriyar's opening choices. But I don't know. It's like, come on, man. Just what do you do? Right here, knight e2, knight g3. Development of white speaks for itself. Right here, bishop d3 was played. Can you explain again, Vladimir, why bishop d3 is such a bad move? Why
I
computer doesn't
I
like it?
can absolutely, because if we can see, the pawns are on the dark squares, so white has some weak light squares, for example c4 most of all, and if you trade the only defensor of these squares, right, probably you'll not be happy in this position because some knight will land on c4 and will disturb your whole game.
Yeah.
So that's a problem.
Yeah, this is a problem because when you have holes of some color, in this case it's light, if you trade light square bishop, expect trouble. And that's what happens. Shakhriyar plays h4, he's been over aggressive, and right here what he could do, he could even dominate more, play h3, forcing g3, replace his knight right here, castle maybe here, create pressure on the pawn on e3, but he castles short as if nothing happened. And why is it a bad decision? Because he's gonna be under attack, and white has majority of pawns in the center, and going to the side where you already pushed h4 pawn, unless it's some modern line of Caro-Kann, is not the greatest choice.
I have a
So
question, Ladislav.
yeah,
Maybe I know that you know a lot of things in chess, so I wanted to ask you, what's in your
really.
opinion was like mindset, like or thinking of Shakhriyar in this position? Like, why you will castle short? What's the reason for it?
It's
What is the
like
idea behind it?
I'm not, like I do not know all these things, and I cannot read minds of the people, so I have no idea. I don't know. Maybe he thought that Castle Short is all right, and he will win like that. First round, you chilling, you relaxed, you're not thinking that somebody will pay attention. Like how much? Shahryar didn't spend time almost at all. Right here, he spent 7 minutes in Castle. He played absolutely like
That's
instantly.
happened sometimes to me, when opponent plays that bad positionally, I can relax and yeah, but I mean not playing Olympiads for my country, so probably that's a difference. Majana probably says like
Looking at, let's say, Ukraine and Spanish squads, we could definitely fit there. But yeah, it's like wouldn't drop down a lot, and we could fight against 1900 guys, maybe. Uh,
probably.
yeah, there is a chance. Okay, rook e8 playing against the pawn on e3. Knight f4 was played. The white slowly trying to prepare e4 push that we warned you before. C5 happened next. And right now, yeah, I don't know. I'm not so sure about c5 move, but black trying to be prepared to undermine the center while white is attacking on the flank. And the game goes on like rook e2, bishop b3, queen d6, cd, knight a5. Shakhriyar comes to c4, and right here, interesting move, bishop b4. What, in your opinion, Vladimir, is the best move? Our queen is attacked. Of course, if you answer, I don't know, some rook d8, I would not understand you, but yeah, where would you move your queen and why?
I think obviously to c7, because once again, when we think in any of the positions, we need to think also about opponent's plans. And what is only probably, I mean, if you see rook on e1, other rook on e2, and pawn on e3, what do you expect? I mean, that they will just stand and look at the pawn on e3? Probably someone will push the pawn, right? And the idea that queen attacks the knight in this
Yeah.
case and doesn't let him to play for.
And what Shahryar did, he played queen c6, and then instead of trying to at least keep the pawn there, he took, and then after taking, he's being destroyed. But it's like very often, I don't know if you watched Gotham videos, for example, he say you make a mistake and then you make a mistake again, and it's important to prevent it. Just concentrate, find the best solution. But Shahryar plays rook d8, and he receives knight d5 right in his face. And why is it so dangerous? Because after knight takes d5, pawn takes d5, it's an overload. Queen cannot defend two guys at the same time and we win a piece. So Shakhriyar went for a lesser evil. He decided to lose an exchange and position absolutely lost. And he was cooked for a while, but for his luck, his opponent was in time trouble, and the imagination of Shakhriyar was great enough, and he didn't win this position. The game ended in a draw, which is unbelievable for me, because if you just take, play some rook of 7, I mean,
Yeah, I don't know what is this. It's
he's
kind of
almost cooked. Right here, they traded queens. Position is still absolutely
even
winning.
here. Yeah.
He even centralized the king, which was a great idea, defended everything, and agreed for a draw in this position.
In this position, right here.
Yes, in this position. Like just when you have rook d1, d5, and just win.
Let's talk clear. Where is your balls, chess players? Why? Why you don't play for a win this position? We'll see next game. If you think that that's all, you'll see still next game
Yeah.
where probably there was win and one. Like why? If you go to play Olympic tournament, I know that you can say that after like when you'll be old already that I did draw versus Shakhriyar Mamedyarov, but it's nothing. You can play for a win. You don't respect yourself if you agree for a draw in this position. Like what are you doing there then?
Yeah, we have like in proverb, who doesn't risk doesn't drink champagne or something like that. So you like need to, of course, take some risks. But right here, what risks I don't exactly know
Yeah, because
because
I understand that if it's typical, let's say, no, +1 for you, but you're afraid and it can go wrong. But this, nothing can go wrong as long as you just don't drop rook in one move. I mean, you
yeah.
can lose exchange and you're still better in this position, I think,
So yeah,
because of the king, pawns, and whatsoever.
when you play strong
Disaster. Horrible.
opponents, don't leave your balls at home. And the last
Yeah.
game probably for today, because there are some games like Anish Giri playing, there were like some other upsets, like in Germany, 2600 GM couldn't win like below
Wesley.
2000. Yeah, Wesley So made a draw, but yeah, I mean, Wesley So made a draw, there is nothing sensational, you know. And here we have a game of Uzbekistan star Nodirbek Yakubboev. And Vladimir said and predicted in our podcast again, I will not stop promoting it, that Uzbekistan will score first place. And after this game, I have some doubts in what shape Nodirbek is, but not Abdusatorov. I like to the same names, just mixing everything up. They played against Trinidad and Tobago. I already know how to pronounce this country in English. And here it comes Sicilian. And probably I'm as a Nodirbek player myself, probably former, I hope. Don't like to suffer. Nodirbek likes, so he plays Nodirbek. Rook G1 is being played. I remember the Caruana played recently. This idea is that you wanna like in some Keres attack style or like Kasparov did, wanna push G4 G5 and start attacking straight away. Usually people go e5 and try to play bishop e6, d5, undermine the center against attack on the flank, but it's pretty drawish concept. Even though in some rapid against lower rated opponents I won such games, it shouldn't be the big problem. In the game, b5 was played. How do you think? The Nodirbek playing for a draw or for a win? Vladimir, what do you say about this move?
I think he expects that he's playing for a win. That's what
Yeah,
his expectations are.
but preparation
But
of the opponent speaks for itself. a4 before knight d5. This pawn possible to take, but it's risky as we will see. If take, there is a hole in c6, even though engine says it's alright. But what happened? Bishop c4. It reminds me, like some Tal Fischer game in this the same Nodirbek, but bishop c4 instead of rook g1 with the6, with a lot of blow minded sacrifices. Very similar setup. And right here in this position, after queen e2, which was again probably the theory, it was a very hard decision where to move because it looks like trading pieces when you up material is good, but in fact better was to go knight c5 because then you reinforce the center and you have better chances for a successful development. In the game, knight of 6 was played. White quickly played bishop g5, increasing the pressure. This knight is invincible because of multiple pins that we have. After bishop e7, how do you think, Vladimir? Do we take bishop, knight, and why is it so?
okay, first of all, I know that I myself like to take bishops in these kind of positions, so probably I would take the bishop here.
According to your coach Georgia Tkachenko, you
Yes,
probably his
absolutely. But
adopted son.
yes, he likes to keep the knights on the board, I know, but since I already quit his lessons, I can do 97 things.
Okay, gotcha. Got permission. And right here, after long castle, you can see white has a crazy compensation for a pawn because all the pieces developed, king castled, and let's say castling here is not an option because there is a knight of 5 trying to abuse the spin. h6 was played, bishop goes back, rook a7, trying to defend the queen so that knight of 5 didn't work anymore, and castle was available, f4 being played. Rook c7 attacking the bishop, and rook e1. All the pieces of white point in the center. So learn how to play from this FIDE master that I hear about first time. This is his glory time. And right here, Nodirbek played d5, trying to close the bishop, trying to move him away, and finally successfully finish development. What is wrong with this move? Why is it a mistake?
Because you blunder in 3, I think, because bishop takes on d5 right now directly. You can take with the knight for obvious reasons, and if you take with the pawn, queen goes somewhere and you just win. And like
Yeah, queen
queen
f3,
f3,
queen
let's say
d3.
bishop e6, and I know f5 or
Even if bishop
whatever.
e6, yeah, 5, you just, I mean, it's a snowball, you just destroy. Probably Nodirbek realized that he blundered, he spent some time, he definitely didn't expect it, he played queen d6, and right now, for example, it was possible to, let's say, sacrifice the knight, with an idea that queen is in danger, and let's say after queen e6, we again have the same idea, winning the queen and having awesome position right here. So yeah, this is clearly possible winning the queen such way. White played bishop g3. I wouldn't say that it's a terrible mistake. Position dynamical, and white played in a bit different way. White right now has two pieces for the rook, and rook usually is worse, but white's initiative is very cool. Queen c4 right here, and right now castle is another mistake, the most natural move in the position, and right here white has only one move to keep the advantage for himself. What is this move?
It's a very strong move. I didn't expect it because it looks like all the pieces looking towards c6 pawn, but in reality, you just release the pressure and you throw pawn to f6 in this
Yeah,
position.
because right now again overload is, I mean, not the first time we use this term in today. Idea is that after queen f6, knight drops, and if it's gf, oh god, then like knight f5 and queen g4 and queen g7.
Mate.
Otherwise, you wanna lose a queen. Yeah. In the game, queen d8 was played, and I thought during the game that that's it. It's like 3-1 for Uzbekistan because clearly Yakubboev will not stay alive. Knight to 6, very strong move. Right here, like we have 3 pieces for the queen, and like couple pawns with all of that. Position obviously winning. I mean, yes, 3 pieces can do the marvel, but white step by step, just nailing with the hammer. Black h5 is about to come. Yeah, opponent has like 2 minutes around each. h5 is played and rook e5. And right here, yeah, little spoilers, you never saw it, like in the Men in Black, this device that erases your memory. Uh, the point is that what happened in the game, Vladimir? How do you think? What do you expect?
Okay, since I know what happened, unfortunately, I have to say that they repeated for a draw, and I'm very disappointed with the performance of this guy again because, I mean, he fought it very well. He played so good. He played one of the best games of his life. For sure, he'll not play like this anymore. No, never. I mean, he can get close, but not
Vladimir,
not
you
do
are
anything.
very demotivated. Like, what is that? It's like
What is that?
maybe next Olympiad he's like just gonna crush this Magnus's
Ask this
Caruanas.
Mr. Quinn why he did this. Let's say you just disrespect your work. I mean, you worked very hard to achieve this position and to beat, and when you're winning almost in one, like you say, oh, let's draw, let's shake hands, let's go
Yeah.
to drink for a beer, and why you do it? I mean,
Because right here,
you can win and go later.
pretty obvious move. Queen g4 wins with an idea of just forking
Double
because
attack.
we attacking the bishop. But even if you play queen f6, all right. Even if you play some queen f3 right here, it's still better. Like, well, what do you risk? But instead, sorry for my like, pardon for my English, but he like literally shit himself right here. Like, I don't know what happened. So it's like when you play strong opponents, again, the same motive. Don't lose your mind. You can win. Nobody is unbeatable. Everybody blunders, and this game showed it. And actually, we probably one of the first one who is publishing this recap. So please like and subscribe. Tell me what you think. What surprised you the most? Who, by the way, do you like? Do you watch live streams or not? And yeah, wait us for the next video. Thanks, Vladimir, for coming today for our video as well. Bye.
Thank you. Ciao.